Hello everyone, welcome back to the Maverick channel. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to everyone that subscribed, everyone that continues to engage with this channel. I reached 500 subscribers. That's really exciting, that's really awesome, and I'm going to try as much as I can to bring valuable content on this channel. So thank you guys. Let's go into it. So today I want to review this amazing article. This is an article that was written by the Block Research. It's a platform where you can go to get cryptocurrency research, news. Some of the articles are locked, but sometimes you can get some articles that are open, depending if you're lucky or if they're paid for by a different sponsor, to that platform, so therefore making it available to the public. Or sometimes they can allow you to give in an email, and hence you can download the article. So I'm going to summarize the article for you because it's 75 pages. I'm going to give you the key pointers that were mentioned, and then I recommend you to go and take a look at this document if you want to get educated about a little bit of the history of Bitcoin and how different scaling solutions have been tried on the Bitcoin network. Then you look at smart contracts, you look at the reputation of some of the smart contract platforms, but we're going to get into that. So that is the main focus of today's video. So guys, thank you so much for coming. Those that are new, welcome to the Maverick channel. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and let's get right into it. So the first thing that I want to start off with before I continue with this review, I want to make this honorable mention to Fetch.AI. Of course, we've been seeing a lot of news. This is a agent-based technology system that utilizes artificial intelligence and machine learning to run these instruments called autonomous economic agents, and they're also building other solutions to DeFi as regards rug pulls, being able to protect yourself, and also stop losses. So being able to deploy an agent on Uniswap, PancakeSwap to have an automated process that can protect you from some of the dangers that come with DeFi. Now, of course, we've been seeing a lot of we normally see platforms that keep track of blockchain activity, and normally Fetch.AI comes up as one of the ecosystems out there that's really on top of their game when it comes to development and keeping on track of things. But also we want to notably read this out. This was a post by Fetch.AI. Volatility and all the highs and lows in the market aside, the real USP of Fetch.AI is the spectrum of use cases our agents can be adopted to. In the coming weeks, months, we will demonstrate some really cool applications with multi-chain deployments. Our partnerships with enterprise partners like Bosch, Festo, along with our capability to work with other protocols, is what makes Fetch.AI a special project. We welcome new members to our community, and we look forward to an adventurous journey into the future. Those that are new, those that have never heard of Fetch.AI, it's this really Cambridge-based artificial intelligence company that has partnered with some of the biggest companies, both in revenue and both in also their innovative process and their manufacturing process. Those companies like Bosch, Festo, these are multi-billion-dollar companies within Europe. And Fetch continues to look out for strategic partnership even within the cryptocurrency space. The type of DeFi, Oracle platforms, and other types, even when you look at their development platform, and also the type of algorithm they used, which is based on the Cosmos, Tendermint consensus algorithm, Tendermint Byzantine fault tolerance, which comes from the Cosmos network or the Cosmos side of things. So it also incorporates that interoperability standard. So that's why it's exciting. So guys, after that, let's jump right into it. Let's review this document. So Blockchain Research published this document right here. 75 pages document titled Layer1 Platforms, a Framework Comparison. This report focused on comparing a chosen set of Layer1 blockchains, which were Ethereum, Algorand, Binance Smart Chain, Polkadot, Solana, Cosmos, Avalanche. So one thing you notice when you read through this document is that there's a lot of smart contract compatible platforms these platforms that are being chosen. They're basically smart contract compatible. So they're going to be compared across factors such as technical design, on-chain and ecosystem design, native token design, key ecosystem members like their CEOs, CTOs, social mention, attention, the type of network effect they're creating on a social side and a technical side. So the individual platforms were selected based on their varying levels of growth and maturity, different approaches to scaling, and different approaches towards decentralization. The report generally starts by introducing Bitcoin and some other platforms that tried and are still trying to scale the Bitcoin network, e.g. RSK. There is something called Sovereign, which is an EVM, Ethereum Virtual Machine compatible Bitcoin sidechain to bring DeFi functions like lending and borrowing all the good stuff about DeFi, trying to bring that on Bitcoin. It also mentions about Omni, a platform on which USD Tether started with when it was trying to introduce that stablecoin technology onto the Bitcoin network. And Tether has been very adoptable with new technologies, so it moved on to Ethereum, Tron, EOS, and other blockchains. So it also talks about how Tether is not created equal, and how different Tether, and we all know that if you've used USD Tether on different blockchains, different environments, it's more liquid somewhere, it's less liquid somewhere, so it's indeed not created equal. It depends on the platform on which it lies. So this article also goes ahead to remind us about early explorations as far as Bitcoin blockchain tech was concerned back in 2011. Concepts like decentralized securities, trading, property rights, and self-sovereign identity. These are some factors that we've been talking about on this channel. And we know self-sovereign identity, those are some of the key concepts that are important within the blockchain industry that have not yet properly been solved, but they're looking for that one technology that solves them, or that one solution that solves them. So there's a mention of platforms that, for example, if you look at Bitcoin as a currency, Litecoin, XRP, Dogecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Stellar Lumens, then it also looks into platforms that are specifically created for smart contracts. You can use them as currency like Ethereum, but they have other functionalities like smart contracts. And some of those functionalities are also in the other platforms, but they're focused more on the currency side. So we can see examples like Cardano, Polkadot on the smart contract side, Solana, Binance Smart Chain, and Atom, Cosmos, Avalanche, Algorand, and then the VCs, as we've said, and some other miscellaneous chains, like we can see Chainlink here, Mana, and I think this is BitShares, I think so. We can see Filecoin, and then the DeFi specific platforms like SushiSwap, Uniswap, and so on. So the report also goes on to expand upon the idea of smart contracts with a summarization of a quote-unquote decentralized economy stack and what it's composed of. For example, assets, accessibility, scalability, then security, and consensus. So on further reading, we start to understand the difference between Layer 1 solutions that build their own native tokens, their various tokenomics ranging from fees paid on the network to incentives given to stakers, validators, miners, and the teams that built the projects. On further reading, we start to understand the difference between Layer 1 solutions that built their own native tokens, their various tokenomics, ranging from fees paid on the network to incentives given to stakers, validators, miners, and the teams that built these projects. So we're talking about vesting periods. We know different projects, especially if they're starting out, they have this vesting period. They say if you're a CTO, or if you're part of the team, or if you were an investor, then your tokens will be given to you over a period of 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, to avoid that sudden influx or that sudden shock in the market, in the market when all these tokens are dumped onto the market. So to prevent that, to allow good tokenomics. So it also goes into things like that. Then other topics that are covered, if you go deeper into this article, are topics such as security on the network through consensus mechanisms employed by various blockchains, the levels of energy consumption associated with those said algorithms like proof of work, proof of authority, proof of stake, and others are mentioned there. We're then taken into a short and long-term view of the current state of the Ethereum network, especially its recent upgrade, which was the EIP, or Ethereum Improvement Proposal 1559, but others are not mentioned that much because the 1559 was the most popular one and most people are most excited about that. And they also talk about the roadmap of Ethereum as it tries to transition to ETH 2.0. This is where the report goes into explaining various scaling solutions for the Ethereum network, such as Plasma with Polygon, optimistic rollups with Arbitrum, Validium with Starkware, and ZK rollups with Aztec, with other examples given under these categories. For example, you can see Plasma, it's not just Polygon, but they also mentioned Omisego. They give some positives like the scaling capacity and some negatives like the data availability limitations. Then they talk about, or they go into optimistic rollups and they give examples of Arbitrum, Fuel, and Optimism. And then they go into Validium, like, for example, Starkware and Diversify as the platforms dealing with that. Then the ZK rollups, so platforms using ZK rollups to try and scale, which are Aztec, Hermes, Starkware again, and ZK Sync. So those are some examples they give us there. So from here, we dive into some exciting analysis of the technical design and performance, which goes in depth about a few ways on how to construct a decentralized network, such as running nodes, staking, delegation, punishment of bad actors, incentivizing the good actors, and some attack vectors like the 51% attack when it comes to proof of work chains. And when it comes to proof of stake, we have the 33%, where the the validators who have more than 33% of the network, of the say on the network, really have a lot of control over the network. It also goes into covering the network architecture, that is the decision to have multiple or singular validator sets on top of multiple or single chains. The report also mentions transactions per second, network finality, transaction throughput, daily transacted volume, transaction fees, total value locked in DeFi, basically on-chain data of the chain, and ecosystem data like social media penetration, developer activity on GitHub and Discord, staking, governance, the execution environment, and the languages that each platform uses. For example, being EVM compatible, platforms that use Solidity, other platforms that use Viper, other platforms that use other programming languages, and also leveraging, instead of maybe EVM, using WASM or C-level, etc. So it goes into the key members in each ecosystem, such as the CEOs, the CTOs, the co-founders, and a little data about the projects and the money they raised in the past. Now, finally, the conclusion, which obviously summarizes the whole document. However, the last mention in the conclusion was one of the most exciting ones because it capitalized upon interoperability and the importance of interoperability. Now, we talked about, obviously, Polkadot, it talked about Ethereum with, for example, Ethereum 2.0, when it goes into the sharded chains, there needs to be that importance of the cross-shard communication. We've talked a lot about this on this channel. It's as something that's important if a chain is going to be truly scalable and interoperable as well. So they mention, it's like almost an honorable mention. I like the fact that they acknowledge Cosmos's IBC, because all this time we've been talking about Cosmos and their inter-blockchain communication protocol, and we're wondering, why doesn't nobody, notice this? And we know this document was written by the Algorand research team, so they could have been biased or whatever, but they've tried to be as neutral and as nuanced as possible. So let's look at this conclusion about Cosmos and what they have to say. So Cosmos's inter-blockchain communication protocol is one of the most detailed specification for interchain communication to date. At its core, it's a messaging protocol that is often analogized to the TCP/IP layer of the blockchain. IBC, which is the inter-blockchain communication protocol, is agnostic to actual content messages, which could include fungible token transfers, which are the normal tokens, cross-ledger voting, account delegation, and cross-ledger decentralized exchange order and settlement information. It went live in production earlier this year and could provide insights into the future of interoperability. It is currently being adopted by several zones that leverage Cosmos technology, with the potential to be adopted by other chains that reside outside of the Cosmos ecosystem. So guys, basically this article, if you're to do anything, if you're trying to do your own research, come and read this article. It's 75 pages, but it's a very interesting article. It's very intriguing. It's very well written, and it's very unbiased. They selected those cryptocurrencies, those blockchain technologies. I think there were 7 of them, depending on different factors, depending on their network effect, depending on how popular they are, depending on their use case, how actually useful they are, and also looking at other factors like how innovative their technologies were, and also their CEOs. For example, if you look at Polkadot, this guy came from, he was one of the co-founders of the Ethereum network. Then when it comes to Ethereum, obviously Vitalik, and the other projects as well, their CTOs, CEOs, their members, and the importance and the reason why, despite we're talking about decentralized technologies, why it's still important to look at the key founders of these projects, because many times their voices or their opinions or what they have to say about those projects is very much highly sought after, because they emerge as natural leaders of these projects, as the people that really co-founded them or started them or whatever, they were at the inception of those projects. So of course seeking their advice becomes very important, in a way that's how also Bitcoin started. Satoshi Nakamoto had to get into conversation with some real people out there to test the network, until in his last email he was like, I think this is in right hands, let me move on to other things, so guys, go read this article. It's very interesting, and I completely love the ending, because these are the things we've been talking about all along. All right guys, hope you enjoyed. Take care, see you on the next one. Bye bye.